This is Glenn Hodges. Welcome to Glenn Hodges Live from Washington, D.C. This is a continuation of my three-part program that I began with the legendary Jim Stovall, Olympic weightlifting contestant, as well as the author of The Ultimate Gift that was later made into a major motion picture, and Ollie Cantos, an attorney with the U.S. Department of Education, previously with the Department of Justice, and a two-time presidential appointee. And right next to me is the legendary Don Green, the VP and Executive Director of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, a gentleman many people say that knows Napoleon Hill better than Napoleon Hill knew himself. Just a walking book of wisdom. I said in part two, I referenced Peggy Lee's song from back in the 1960s, "Is That All There Is?" You know, you folks have achieved success that many people are enviable of. Many people that are highly successful accumulate money. We all like money. I remember Zig Ziglar says, you know, the stuff is dirty and green and, you know, but my wife likes it. It goes with anything she wears. So, but often people discover that money just isn't everything they want, and they begin to ask themselves, is this all there is? And in the song, Peggy Lee, during various parts of her life, says, is this all there is? So I think what she was looking for was happiness. So with that in mind, Don, could we kick this section off with you? What is happiness and how does one achieve it?
Well, to me, is, of course, we put here to take care of ourselves and our family. But to me, as happiness is when you're in a position to make a difference in other people's lives. And I think it's that, till we reach that stage, we're still saying, is this all there is? Did a fundraising in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, back many years ago, right after the tsunami. And I talked to a psychologist that was one of the speakers there. We was raising money. And he said he often treated people for depression. But he said he got to thinking one day, he had never treated anyone for depression that was heavily involved in making a difference in other people's lives. It's simply, you think you have problems, you look around, there's people that you can make a difference in your life. And you can't be considered on yourself what you're lacking if you're making a difference in other people's lives. And to me, that's fulfillment. It's come around full circle when you've got your life taken care of, your security, your family, and you're in a position to make a difference of other people's lives at your own choosing. It can be the college students, it can be St. Jude's, it can be your college, it can be your family members, it can be your neighbors, your church members, or whatever. You get to choose, but until you get that place in life, I think you're still searching for something or other.
Thank you. Jim, what have you got to say to this?
Well, I think happiness for me comes to, I've always looked for three things. I've got to have something to do, someone to love, and something to look forward to. And anytime I'm not happy, if I examine my life, what is it in there I'm missing? Do I not have something to do? Do I not have something to love? Or do I not have something to look forward to? And as Don pointed out so well, if you are spending your life serving others, you've always got something to do, someone to love, and something to look forward to. But regardless of who you are or where you are, if you'll look for those things, you'll find yourself being happy long term. And if you don't, if you're just looking at yourself or what you have, you're never going to be happy because there's never enough. I know millionaires and billionaires that are trying to get more, and they're dying of the disease of more. You never get more. There's always one more dollar, there's always one more thing, and you've got to have a sense of gratitude, and then of course something to do, someone to love, and something to look forward to.
Thank you. Ollie, what about happiness to you?
Well, happiness is something that just comes from the gut. It's that feeling of absolute fulfillment, and for me, Jim actually encapsulated it perfectly. It's gratitude. With wherever we are and whoever we are, when we wake up each day and we literally take the time to count our many, many, many blessings. And we all have them. We just have to take the time to identify what they are and to feel within our hearts how grateful we are to have those things. The more we have that attitude of being grateful, the more we receive that is characterized by the positivity and the wonderful things that make life so rich and fulfilling. And that's gratitude for everything. It's gratitude for the food we have, the roof over our head, the money that we make, the family that we have, the people we love, the things that make life comfortable, the opportunities to give, the ways that we have talent and ability to share. All of us have talents and abilities that may be shared with the world. And so frequently people think that the real source of happiness is on the horizon. So frequently they say, well, I will be happy when I get this, I become this, whatever it is, whatever the thing is in the distance. But the reality is that the happiness is actually in the journey, because when we really love who we are and we find reasons to love more of what is within us, then we also look for the same qualities in others, then literally there aren't enough hours in a day to look around us and say, oh my gosh, I'm grateful for this and this and this and this. And then when we have that mindset, everything else follows.
You know, it reminds me of my own life. Every time, and I think everyone that's honest, maybe even the three of you, have experienced times that maybe you just weren't happy. And I think that during those times we were kind of me-centered. Reminds me of a legendary coach. I say legendary in certain parts of the country, a fellow by the name of Irk Russell. He was the defensive coach for the University of Georgia. He was invited to go down to a little school in Statesboro, Georgia that hadn't had a football program for over 40 years. They built a stadium, he built a team. His theme was, big team, little me. And I think that's what all of you are saying. It's all about helping others. That's often where we find happiness. And to wrap it up right quick, if you have a final comment, Don?
Well, I enjoyed the comments from Ollie and Jim both, because I've been around a while, but every day I realize there's more I don't know than what I do know. And I'm still a work in progress.
Jim?
Happiness is a choice, and you know, there's always things you can decide to be happy about. There's always things you could be unhappy about, and you get to control your attitude and make a choice.
And let's end with our presidential appointee, Attorney Ollie Cantos.
Ultimately, no matter what our lives have been up to this point, the lives that we have had can pale in comparison to the lives that we may have in the future as we start right now to make the changes in our lives that will show themselves forward and bring forth much fruit from the way we think of ourselves and how we view our role in building the rest of the world.
You know, if I had only known what these gentlemen have shared now 50 years ago, my life would have been totally different. So folks, listen to this. These are wise people. They've experienced success. They've experienced adversity, but they learned from all of it. This is Glenn Hodges live from Washington, D.C., reminding you that your day will be just as good as you visualize it.